Welcome to the part 4 of chapter 4 from the Bipin Chandra. In this lecture, we are going to take the Charters Act of 1813. After that, the next Charter Act will discuss in the next session. So, what exactly was Charter Act of 1813? As we have seen in Pitt's India Act, there were certain restrictions that were imposed, but there were no clear boundaries demarcation into that. But in the Charters Act of 1813, it ended the trade monopoly of the company in India that was thrown to British subjects and all. So it was like in that time there were regulations imposed with the trade with the India, but this time uh, the trade with China was also imposed, but with the restriction on the on that restriction was only imposed into the tea and your opium trade with the China. So into these two subjects, the company was still independent. Company was still independent, and no other traders were allowed to do trade with regarding these two subjects with the China. Okay, so in that the main two things that were taken care that was imposed into the Charter Acts of 1813. There was the government and the revenues of India that was still under the company, like whatever the revenues, taxes, and the collection from the peasants, and also all those were still under the British East India Company, and the right to appoint the officials under the company to work within the India where it's still under the company hand. After that, we'll see that the civil service will come where the exams will be taken place and the British officers will be employed, will be hired through some written exam and all. Okay, but till Charter Acts of 1813, company still had the monopoly to appoint the officials within it and the collection of revenues, and that was still under the company. Okay, so what was the still background of the Charter Act of 1813 and why it was imposed? So, as we have seen earlier as well, that there were certain kind of voice that was raised in England uh, regarding the monopoly of British East India Company. So they were jealous. They were jealous of their monopoly of that and the kind of earnings that they were getting. So they used to raise voice in Britain, in the Britain Parliament. Okay, to listening to the voice, to suppress those voice, that the British officials in the England were imposing certain kind of restrictions under it. So this Charter Acts was the result of that voice that was raised in Britain. Okay, so the that one reason was here that the British merchants were allowed to trade in India under the strict licensing system under the Charters Act of 1813. So now other British traders were allowed to work in the India, trade with the India with certain kind of impositions or restrictions present to there. Okay, so how it came. So as we go through the world history, so we'll came to know that the Napoleon Bonaparte imposed the continental system in Europe, and due to that, the import of British goods was restricted in the French allies countries or the states. Due to that, the British traders were hampered, like British traders and the merchants were suffered. Not East India Company. Remember, the East India Company was working they were already in the profit with the India. I'm talking about the other British merchants who were trading throughout the world. Now, with the Napoleon Bonaparte continental system in Europe, the restrictions was imposed that they will not be importing the British good into their allies. Okay, so they sorry, so they demanded that they will be given a share in the British trade in the Asia and dissolve the monopoly of the East India Company. Say, this is the reason that they after the sufferance of the Napoleon after the Napoleon, so they wanted share in India. That why British East India Company is getting the monopoly for that. Okay, So that was the reason regarding it. Thus, company objected to this and find the British merchants were allowed to trade in India under a strict licensing system under the Act of Charters Act of 1813. But in trade with China and tea trade, the company still retained its monopoly. Okay, with respect to tea trade, and that was one is opium also. Okay, with regards to tea trade and the opium, company still had the monopoly to trade with the China. In that respect, other traders were not allowed to do so. So what were the provisions under the Charters Act of 1830? The main provisions. The act asserts the crown sovereignty over the British possession in India. So it was like earlier uh, it was think that British East India Company has sovereignty over the government of India. Okay. Now, through this act, it was like now crowns will have a more responsibility, will have a more power over the government of India. Okay. So through this act, it was like Crown asserts the sovereignty over the British possessions in India. Now she will have a greater control over the possessions over India. The company's rule was extended to another 20 years, and their trade monopoly was ended except for the trade in tea, opium with the China. Okay, so the monopoly of the company was disturbed. Other traders were allowed to do trade with the India as well, with the Asia regions as well. Where with respect to China, they were not allowed to do trade with the tea and the opium. So that was the one important point, one of the key crucial point of the Charter Act of 1813. I can see that the camera is flickering, so please ignore that. I will check later after this recording of the video. It empowered the local government to tax people subject to the jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. As we have seen, that the Supreme Court was one of the drawback in the Pitt India Act. So that it was like now the local government will have the power to tax the people and with the jurisdiction of the Supreme Court if it is allowed or not. Okay. And the company dividend was fixed at the 10.5%. So what dividend means like the profit. So now the company's profit, whatever the company is going to earn the profit, in that 10.5% will be the share of the company only. Okay. So that is mean of the dividend. Dividend in the economic terms, we'll see that it means profit. The act gave more powers for the court in India over European British subject. And the another important feature of this act was to grant permission for the missionary to come in India and engage in the religion proselytization. So, what exactly I'm unable to explain, but what exactly it means like the Christian missionary will come into the India. They will spread their religion in the form of officials, like through the officials, British officials. They will come into India and they will spread their religion between the people of the country. So that was one of the key point under the Charter Act of 1813 that they sent the Christian missionary to the India to spread the religion throughout the country. Okay. So the missionaries were successful in getting the appointment of a bishop for British India with the headquarters at Calcutta in the provision of the Act. So they also got successful grant to do so, to do missionaries activities throughout the country with through the officials of the British government. Okay, that they were set up as the like in the church. They became the bishop over there, and they settled at the headquarters of the Calcutta. And later we'll see that they will be spread throughout the country, where many opposition, where many voice will be raised against it, and that they are hampering with the tradition of the Indiana law. Okay, so that was one of the reason of raising of the struggle of freedom. Okay, so if British officials like see, we'll see that revolt will happen. Various revolt of 1857 and other things will happen. So they came to know like if they are going to touch the religion of the Indian people, they will suffer repercussion of it. They will attack over the religions. Like if someone is going to touch their religion. So later we'll see that British will try to keep a distance from the religion perspective of of the Indian people, and they will start to play divide and rule. Okay, they will start to play divide and rule, and that we'll see in the national movement. that will trigger around 18 after 1887 and all, after 1884, like when the Congress organization will be formed. So after that, we'll see that British government will try to do so, but they will ultimately fail in this. Okay, so this act provided for a financial grant towards the revival of Indian literature and the promotion of science, and the company was also to take up a greater role in the education of the Indian under them. And it was set aside rupees 1 lakh for the purpose. But we'll see that this 1 lakh 1 lakh rupees will not also be spent on the Indian people. So officially, it is like they are reserving 1 lakh money for the education, but ultimately we'll see that this money is also not going to be spent mm, uh, in profitable way, in what in better management way. And the most of the money, whatever they are going to spend, whatever the money that they are going to spend, that will be spent in only urban areas. And which urban areas where the British officials or or their families used to reside, into the regions of their officials, there only these institutions will be placed. So for the rural areas, it was untouched. Okay, so this was all about in the Charter Acts of 1813, and we'll go for the next charter. Hope you have liked this video. Please like and subscribe. This is the new channel. We really need your support.